Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney is applauding the RCMP for making an arrest in the kidnapping of former Canadian freelance journalist Amanda Lindhout. Lindhout and Australian photojournalist Nigel Brennan were taken hostage in Somalia in 2008 and held in Somalia for 15 months. The Mounties arrested 37-year-old Somali national Ali Omar Ader in Ottawa on Thursday. Police allege Ader was the lead negotiator working for a group that kidnapped Lindhout. Paul Nadeau is a former police detective and hostage negotiator. He joins us now from Toronto. Mr. Nadeau, how, I wonder, were Canadian authorities, able to get this man from Somalia to Canada?
Well, that's an interesting question. This offense occurred in 2008, as we know, and once the demand for ransom was made, it launched an extensive investigation into who did it, and consequently involved a lot of different agencies and undercover officers. We had intelligence going to Somalia, working and infiltrating their way into this extremist group. And once you do that, keeping in mind that 7 years has gone by, it would be imperative to gain the trust of the members of this extremist group. And I'm going to suggest that that was done so effectively that they were able to offer something to Mr. Ader to come to Canada, either to further his cause or whatever it is that they provided him a lure or a hook. He took it. And consequently, that's what got him onto Canadian soil.
And I take it that was the only way that they could arrest him, by getting him onto Canadian soil, right?
Well, given the circumstances, absolutely. Section 7, subsection 3.1, Clause E of the Criminal Code allows for, it deems that if a person commits a kidnapping anywhere in the world, that will be deemed to have been committed in Canada if the victim is a Canadian citizen, which, again, where do you arrest someone like this? Do you arrest the suspects? This offense occurred in Somalia. The investigation largely occurred in Somalia, and the offenders were not Canadian citizens. So the question then becomes, how do we get one of the suspects to come onto Canadian soil, which is much easier to arrest than it is in Somalia, of course, because we don't know the cooperation that they were getting from the Somalian government, if any, and I'm sure they probably were, but still, much easier to get him into Canadian territory to effect that arrest and send a clear message that anyone who kidnaps a Canadian citizen, despite of where they are, will be hunted down and brought for prosecution.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this man who has been arrested now on Canadian soil. His name is Ali Omar Ader or Ader. He had been Amanda Lindhout's so-called fixer, a man who helps facilitate meetings with people that she, as a freelance journalist, would want to speak with, right?
Right.
And it would seem, according to the RCMP, that he was more than a fixer, however.
For sure. This man would have been used for his ability to negotiate, for one. He was known to his victims as Adam. And he would have been used in a number of different ways because he obviously had certain skills for negotiating, and I'm sure this is not his first kidnapping. So his involvement is likely quite large, especially if he was targeted as one of the main people to bring over to Canada to arrest.
So, in plain words, the RCMP is accusing him of playing both sides. He was portraying himself as someone who could help this freelance journalist access information, interviews with people in Somalia, while at the same time, unknown to them, delivering, according to the RCMP, Lindhout and her colleague into the kidnappers' hands in Somalia.
That's exactly what it is. And again, we're using, or they were using, a very intelligent operative on their side in this extremist facet to fool one side and, of course, work for the other side. And now it's kind of backfired on them, which is great.
Paul Nadeau, a former police detective and hostage negotiator. Mr. Nadeau, good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.